Skirmisher Publishing LLC is a Spring Branch, Texas-based publisher of war games, role-playing games, and historic reprints. It was founded by author, editor, and game designer Michael J. Varhola, and is co-owned by Robert Mack McLaughlin, Oliver Cass, and Jeffrey Weber. About half of Skirmisher's products have been published under the D20 system, a system of game mechanics for role-playing games published in 2000 by Wizards of the Coast that is based on the 3rd edition of Dungeons & Dragons, and named after the 20-sided die which is central to the core mechanics of the system. Skirmisher products created for the D20 system include the books Experts, Warriors, Tests of Skill, Nuisances, and Experts v. 3.5. Artists whose work appears in these books include Brendan Cass, Dragon Chirich, Sharon L. Doherty, William Hazard II, Phil Shade, Keitlinger, and Lisanne Lake, noted for her numerous Dragon magazine covers, and Jeffrey Weber. Other notable Skirmisher publications include a reprint of the H.G. Wells' 1913 wargaming classic Little Wars, which the company republished in a self-standing form for the first time in 27 years, a reprint of Wells' 1911 work Floor Games, which includes a foreword by game designer James F. Dunnigan, and the 3rd edition of the Cthulhu live-action role-playing game. The company also has a line of orc miniatures that it has dubbed the Orcs of the Triple Death, and which it supports with a series of products that include D20 game statistics and descriptive text. History. Skirmisher Publishing LLC was not incorporated until early 2005. But prior to that had simply been doing business as Skirmisher Publishing since mid-2001, according to information posted on the company website. However, its origins are much older, and date immediately to a miniature wargaming development group founded by Varhola and Weber in the mid-1990s and ultimately to the Munich, Germany-based gaming circle in the early 1980s that included Varhola, McLaughlin, and friends Paul Knorr and George Sieretsky. When Skirmisher published its first D20 book, Experts, in 2002, publisher Varhola decided to dedicate it to Dungeons & Dragons creator Gary Gygax and to ask him to write a foreword to the book, believing that such an implicit endorsement would be an auspicious sign for his fledgling venture. "No reader should be surprised at finding this prefatory piece herein," wrote Gygax in the first paragraph of this foreword, "as the principal one to whom this book is dedicated. There was no conceivable way I could refuse writing a short introduction for it without seeming to be a total ingrate. I mention this merely to point out the clever tactics of the authors, for the same ingenuity is certainly applied to the contents of the work proper." Skirmisher retained the same dedication and foreword in the revised, expanded, and redesigned Experts v. 3.5, which it released in 2005. In 2004, Skirmisher distinguished itself by becoming the first gaming company to publish in its books maps created using digital images or three-dimensional models. Publications featuring this technique include Tests of Skill and Experts v. 3.5. After the rights to Call of Cthulhu transferred from Fantasy Flight Games to Skirmisher Publishing, Skirmisher produced a 3rd edition in 2006. Fantasy Flight Games and Skirmisher Publishing have kept the Cthulhu live-action role-playing game going. The Skirmisher Game Development Group. The Skirmisher Game Development Group is composed of several writers, artists, and filmmakers and one current and several former military intelligence officers. Its functions include creating, playtesting, and evaluating games of all sorts for game manufacturer Skirmisher Publishing LLC. Particularly role-playing games and tactical-level miniature war games, exploring the principles of game theory, and applying those principles and the concept of role-playing to problem-solving.